ang iyong himpilan, ang iyong tahanan.
Ang anghel ng Panginoon ay nagbalita kay Santa Maria.
At siya ay naglihi, lalang ng Espiritu Santo.
Aba, Ginoong Maria, napupuno ka ng grasya. Ang Panginoong Diyos ay sumasa iyo. Bukod kang pinagpala sa babaeng lahat, at pinagpala rin naman ang iyong anak na si Jesus.
Santa Maria, Ina ng Diyos, ipanalangin mo kaming makasalanan, ngayon at kung kami mamamatay. Amen.
Darito ang alipin ng Panginoon.
Maganap nawa sa akin, ayon sa wika mo.
Aba, Ginoong Maria, napupuno ka ng grasya. Ang Panginoong Diyos ay sumasa iyo. Bukod kang pinagpala sa babaeng lahat, at pinagpala rin naman ang iyong anak na si Jesus.
Santa Maria, Ina ng Diyos, ipanalangin mo kaming makasalanan, ngayon at kung kami mamamatay. Amen.
At ang Verbo ay nagkatawang tao.
At nakipamayan sa atin.
Aba, Ginoong Maria, napupuno ka ng grasya. Ang Panginoong Diyos ay sumasa iyo. Bukod kang pinagpala sa babaeng lahat, at pinagpala rin naman ang iyong anak na si Jesus.
Santa Maria, Ina ng Diyos, ipanalangin mo kaming makasalanan, ngayon at kung kami mamamatay. Amen.
Ipanalangin mo kami, o Santang Ina ng Diyos.
Nang kami maging dapat na makinabang sa mga pangako ni Jesucristong Panginoon.
Manalangin tayo. Panginoon aming Diyos, kasihan mo nawa ang aming mga kaluluwa ng iyong mahal na grasya, at yayamang dahilan sa pamamalita ng anghel ay nakilala namin ang pagkakatawang tao ni Jesucristong anak mo, pakundangan sa mahal niyang pagpapakasakit at pagkamatay sa krus, ay papakinabangin mo kami sa kanyang pagkabuhay na magmuli sa kaluwalhatian sa langit, alang-alang kay Jesucristo ring Panginoon namin. Amen. Luwalhati sa Ama, at sa Anak, at sa Espiritu Santo.
Kapara noong sa unang-una, ngayon at kailanman, at magpasawalang hanggan.
Amen.
Amen.
Lahat ng drama, tawanan, balita, at all-time favorite music hits.
On air, online, on the ground.
Sa lungkot at ligaya, kami pa rin ang inyong kasama. We're the place where you truly belong. Mula sa TVH Group of Networks, ito ang inyong himpilan. Ito ang inyong tahanan. Number 1 sa Mega Manila.
Pilipinas, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, welcome to koolNews at noon. I'm Stephen Enrique Del Sol, and you're listening on Kool FM nationwide in 99.5 DZYW FM in Manila, Kool FM Regional News Radio 93.1, and also on Kool TV as we continue to bring the stories that care for you and to every Filipino at this very point in time. The last-minute attempt by senators belonging to the so-called Duterte bloc to summarily dismiss the impeachment case against Sa Duterte failed. But after the senators took their oaths as impeachment court judges on Tuesday night, the majority of them voted to approve a motion that will effectively stall the trial. Senate President Francis Cheese Escudero, who was sworn in on Monday night as presiding officer of the court, administered the oath to his 22 other colleagues. The 24th Senate seat was left vacant after Senator Sonny Angara was appointed Education Secretary. Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa moved to junk the impeachment complaint even before the Senate could convert itself into a tribunal court. Escudero ruled, however, that they would tackle de la Rosa's motion only after they had convened as an impeachment court. Pursuant to Article 11, Section 3 of the Constitution, the Senate is now a constituted and convened as an impeachment court. And the impeachment trial of VP Sara Zimmerman Duterte is hereby open and called to order, Escudero said before swearing in his fellow senator judges. Instead of setting the first hearing for the presentation of the articles of impeachment as their first act as an impeachment court, the senators voted 18-5 to return to the House of Representatives the impeachment complaint backed by 215 of its members. The senators approve a motion by Senator Alan Peter Cayetano to remand the impeachment complaint to allow the House to rectify the supposed constitutional infirmities of the articles of impeachment that De La Rosa had raised against it. Senator Risa Hontiveros, Senate Minority Leader and outgoing Aquilino Coco Pimentel III, and Administration Senators Grace Poe, Nancy Binay, and Sherwin Gatchalian opposed the move. Hontiveros said, I strenuously vote no to the motion. The wording of the approved motion introduces unnecessary ambiguity to the already politically charged proceedings. I cannot accept this kind of wording. It is dangerous and disingenuous, particularly when the rules of court have superatory application. The same purpose could have been achieved by merely asking the House prosecutors to file a compliance and clarify the certain issues. She said, in proposing to remand the impeachment complaint, Cayetano said the articles of impeachment would be returned to the House without discussing or terminating the case. He said the House should issue a certification where that did not violate the constitutional provision that bans the filing of more than one impeachment case against impeachable officials within a year. Cayetano said the House of Representatives of the 28th Congress should communicate to the Senate that it is willing and ready to pursue the impeachment complaint against the Vice President. The Senate's decision to remand the impeachment complaint back to the House is unconstitutional, as the 1987 Constitution does not give the Senate the power to return a case, only to try and decide, according to UP law professor Paulo Tamase. He said the Senate took a step that was not in its own impeachment rules and also violated the constitutional structure. Donning their maroon-colored robes, the senators, including those who had openly defended the vice president, raised their right hands as they solemnly swear that in all things pertaining to the trial of the impeachment of Duterte, I will do impartial justice according to the Constitution and the law of the Philippines. Of those who took the oath, Senators Robin Hood Padilla, Cynthia Villar, and Amy Marcos, all known supporters of the Duterte family, refused to wear their robes, which included like a cape. Marcos was heard as saying, "It is so ugly." Delivering a privileged speech before the oath-taking, De La Rosa claimed that the impeachment complaint against the vice president was replete with constitutional infirmities that warranted its immediate dismissal, echoing Duterte's petition to the Supreme Court, questioning the constitutionality of the complaint and asking the court to stop the Senate from trying her. He said the House committed a grave abuse of discretion when it refused to promptly act on the 3 impeachment complaints earlier filed before it endorsed a 4th impeachment complaint on February 5. In other words, intentional inaction of the House of Representatives allowed its members to purportedly circumvent the 1-year ban enshrined in Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 5 of the Constitution, De La Rosa said. Villanueva immediately opposed De La Rosa's motion. Pimentel earlier said that the Senate was not authorized to act on Duterte's impeachment without transforming itself into an impeachment tribunal. Senator Joel Villanueva argued that nowhere in the Constitution is the Senate granted the authority to summarily dismiss an impeachment complaint. Allowing the Senate to dismiss an impeachment complaint without trial would undermine the constitutional mandate of the House, which represents the sovereign will of the people. The senator insisted that the Senate must respect that mandate of the House and proceed to the trial. But acting on Villanueva's objection, Escudero ruled to let the senators take their oath and convene the Senate impeachment court before tackling De La Rosa's proposal. Escudero said while recognizing also De La Rosa's position, the chair prefers the position of Senator Villanueva that we first convene as an impeachment court before acting on the motion. Senator Gatchalian said it would be premature for senators to decide on the matter without allowing the House prosecution team to present the evidence against Duterte. The 19th Congress must be given parliamentary courtesy to act as it must before it bows out on June 30. It's the Senate of the 20th Congress that must conduct the impeachment trial of the Vice President, according to Senator-elect Paulo Benigno Aquino IV or Bam Aquino in his first public remarks on the issue. The 19th Congress must be allowed to take its initial steps as an impeachment court. He said that he affirms the legal arguments that it is clear that the 20th Congress is that the one must carry out the duty. Duterte is facing multiple charges: culpable violation of the Constitution, betrayal of public trust, graft and corruption, and other high crimes related to her alleged misuse of 612.5 million pesos in confidential funds from 2022 to 2024, and for allegedly planning the assassination of the Marcos family and Speaker Martin Romualdez if an alleged plot to kill her succeeds. As the escalation continues, the VP Sara Duterte's office on Wednesday received the writ of summons issued by the Senate Impeachment Court in connection with her trial. The OVP received a writ of summons at 11:05 a.m. Upon receipt of the writ of summons, Duterte was given a non-extendable period of 10 days to answer the complaint against her in accordance with the Article 7 of the impeachment rules. The Senate formally convened as an impeachment court on Tuesday and ordered Duterte to appear before the court to stand trial. The order found a majority vote by Senator judges in favor of Senator Alan Peter Cayetano's motion to return the articles of impeachment to the House without dismissing nor terminating the case. While both Duterte's office and her defense team have declined to comment on the perceived delay by the Senate in proceeding with the trial, her legal team asserted that the impeachment process initiated against her suffers from serious constitutional infirmities. Duterte's legal team has also repeatedly stated that they are ready to face the charges in the trial. Before we go on to the break, the masses seeking accountability over the VP's allegedly constitutional violations would not stay silent just because the Senate sent complaints back to the House. Several pro-impeachment personalities warned. In a statement earlier Wednesday morning, former Senator and incoming ML party list, Mamamayang Liberal Representative Laila de Lima said that the Senate had the chance to let the people's voices be heard, but it allegedly succumbed to the cowardice. Still, Laila de Lima said the fight for truth would continue. De Lima also asked if the Senate is acting as an impeachment court or a mere cult. After the Senate convened as an impeachment court on Tuesday evening, again, these 18 senator judges voted in favor of the motion by Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, having the articles of impeachment back to the House. The Makabayan bloc, composed of ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro, Gabriela Party List Representative Arlene Brosas, and Kabatanan Party List Representative Raul Manuel, believes that this move by the Senate is unconstitutional. According to Makabayan, there is no provision in the Constitution that allows a return of the articles of impeachment once it is sent to the Senate. Makabayan is not the first to point out the lack of a provision on sending back the articles to the House. Just this Friday, prosecution member and San Juan Representative Isabel Zamora noted that the 1987 Constitution does not provide mechanisms for the House to pull back the articles of impeachment once it has been transmitted to the Senate. Earlier, Bagong Alyansang Makabayan or Bayans called the Senate spineless after senator judges voted 18-5 to send back the articles to the House to allegedly clear some technical issues surrounding it. According to the bloc, what Senate did is a shameless abdication of their constitutional mandate. Under the House rules, the Speaker is required to act on the impeachment complaints and forward it to committee on rules within 10 session days after receipt on the complaints, and then it will be referred to the Committee on Justice within 3 session days thereafter. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 12:15 in the clock, 12:15 in the clock Philippine Standard Time. We will return shortly after this break.
This koolNews edition was brought to you by QBA Telecom's all-new Aria Saya 30. Now with 10 gigabytes access to Mobile Legends, PUBG Mobile, Call of Duty, Wild Rift, Cookie Run Kingdom, and Clash Royale for 7 days. QBA Telecom, connecting every Filipino story. Surf Bar and Fabric Conditioner. And Shalom Kainan Restaurants, the Philippines' first ever contemporary Filipino Jewish cuisine. Now serving you in 10 locations nationwide.
Uy, low blood ka, di ba? Pero bakit parang glowing ka? First sulfate yan.
United Home First Sulfate Iron supports healthy blood for a healthy glow with proper diet and healthy lifestyle.
Unilab yan.
Iron is the generic name of United Home First Sulfate Iron. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Pangarap ay umangat pero minsan ay sandan. Kabayanin kita sa Ginebra. Ikaw ang inspirasyon. Kahit di madali, katuwang sa bawat sandali. Kabayanin kita sa One Ginebra Nation. Kaya para sa barangay, ako naman pagbibigay. Kabayanin tayo, kabayanin kita. Drink responsibly.
Inihahandog ng Tiki-Tiki serye ang mga bigating kwento ni nanay. Oo, damang-dama ko. Napakabigat. Ng anak ko! Sa Tiki-Tiki, dama ang bigating alaga ni Mommy. Bigatin sa vitamins na tulong sa pampagaan at pampalusog. Bigatin si baby. Kasi araw-araw nakatiki-tiki. Alaga pa ni Mommy with proper diet and exercise. Kahit gaano ka pa kapigat, anak, kakayanin ko! Dama ang bigating alaga. Yan ang tatak, Tiki-Tiki. Alagang Unilab yan. Mahalagang paalala, ang Tiki-Tiki ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamiting panggamot sa anumang uri ng...
Bar Blue with powerful stain-away enzymes. Malupit magtanggal ng dumit mancha pero di masakit sa kamay.
Dumit mancha. Hello Bright Bar Blue. Isang labalang yan.
As tested ang cotton and polycotton. Sa mancha, malupit. Sa kamay mo, mabait. Try Bar Blue. Manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
Mary, 3 oras na tayo mag-boyfriend-girlfriend. Pakiramdam ko, pwede na tayong mag-next step.
Gardo, sinasabi mo ba na...
Gawin na nating official. Maging Mr. and Mrs. Lamok na tayo.
Yes, yes, 1,000 times, yes!
Cut pet story short with Bygone Shield Defense Multi-Insect Killer. Kills mosquitoes in seconds. 60 years of protecting Filipino homes.
Bygone, the #1 insect killer brand in the Philippines.
October 3, 2022, radio commentator, vlogger, and administration critic Percival Mabasa or Percy Lapid was gunned down near his home in Parañaque City. Gunmen surrendered while mastermind former BOC Chief Jel Bantag is still on the loose. May 31, 2023, Crescenciano Chris Bundokin, known for his local commentary on TWXR 101.7 Kalahing FM in Calapan, Oriental, Mindoro, was shot outside his home by gunmen riding the motorcycles. November 5, 2023, an assailant broke into the booth of Juan Humalon or DJ Johnny Walker of 94.7 Gold FM Colanda, Misamis Occidental, shot him twice and even stole his necklace.
Since 1986, 199 journalists have been brutally murdered in the Philippines. Their voices may have been silenced, but truth can never be distorted. A message from TVH Group of Networks.
There we go. It's now 12:20 in the clock Philippine Standard Time as the Philippines mark its 127th anniversary of independence. Employees who will render work on Thursday, which is a holiday, will be entitled to a double pay. This is in line with the Department of Labor and Employment's pay rules for the June 2025 regular holidays through the Labor Advisory Number 8 Series of 2025, signed by Labor Secretary Bienvenido Laguesma. Malacanang has declared June 12 as a regular holiday in observance of the Independence Day. The advisory read for work done during the regular holiday, the employer shall pay a total of 200% of the employee's wage for that day for the first 8 hours. Basic wage, which is X times 200. Meanwhile, employees who will not work on this day shall be given 100% their wage, provided that the employee reports to work or is on leave or of absence with pay on the day immediately preceding the regular holiday. A long-term solution to Siquijor's ongoing power crisis will be implemented within 6 months, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. announced on Wednesday. Meanwhile, he said 2 generator sets would be deployed for temporary relief to the province, which has been placed under a state of calamity due to the worsening power outages. Marcos told the reporters in Filipino, "We're here because our fellow Filipinos in Siquijor are experiencing a serious problem due to the inadequate power supply. They're having prolonged blackouts, and in some cases, certain households only get electricity for 2 to 5 hours a day. So what we did, at least in the short term, was to deploy large generator sets, 2 of which came from Palawan, where the power issues have already been resolved, making them available for use here." The generator sets are set to arrive on Wednesday evening on Thursday. The president emphasized that SIPCOR must devise a long-term strategy to address the area's power issues more effectively. He said, "We have given ourselves a deadline of 6 months for the short-term solution. By 6 months from now, we will then impose whatever new arrangements that we have to do, so that 6 months from now, we do not have to resort to an emergency genset. Now we have to think about fuel supply. We have to think about the development of even the transmission lines. We also have to make sure that the machines, the generators, are working properly. We have to fix all these. We have to do this. SIPCOR has to live up to its commitments," he added. As for a comment on calls for another power provider, Marcos only said, "Everything is on their table. We just have to examine what is best solution." Amendments to the universal health care have been deferred to the 20th Congress. Groups have commended the bicameral conference committee's decision to cancel the passage of proposed amendments to the UHC Act following opposition from sectors. According to Dr. Antonio Danz, the co-convener of the Health Professionals Alliance Against COVID-19, "We are relieved to know that the BICAM has decided to pause the amendments. For good reasons. We stand our legislators, including Senator J.V. Ejercito, in advocating for a careful, evidence-based approach to the implementation and review of the UHC law." The meeting of the BICAM tasked with reconciling the disagreeing provisions of Senate Bill number 2620 and House Bills number 6772 and 11357, scheduled for Monday, which was canceled as early as Sunday by the committee secretary. Ejercito, chair of the BICAM committee, met with the HPAAC and representatives from medical societies in his office following a short protest outside the Senate on Monday against the attempt to hastily amend the UHC. According to HPAAC, Ejercito promised to try his best to make sure that the further deliberations of UHC amendments would be moved to the 20th Congress as requested by the medical community. The senator was also the main sponsor of the UHC Act, which was passed in 2019 after several years in the legislative unit. More than 9 million TikTok videos in the country were taken down in the second half of 2024 due to the community guideline violations. During that year, TikTok said it removed 4.5 million videos from July to September and 4.85 million videos from October to December. About 99% of these videos were removed proactively, TikTok said in a statement sent to Inquirer.net. Similar to our global policy distribution, the majority of our content was removed. for violating our policies around sensitive and mature themes and regulated goods and commercial activities. TikTok said it uses a combination of technology, human moderation, and community reports to remove content that violates the community guidelines. The repeated offenders risk the permanent removal of their accounts. For the international news, President Donald Trump mobilized another 2,000 California National Guard troops amid protests against immigration authorities that have resulted in some demonstrators assaulting the police officers, looting businesses, smashing windows, and burning the American flag. The deployment of additional troops on Monday night follows the president's decision to activate 2,100 troops over the weekend. In addition to the National Guard, the Pentagon mobilized 700 active duty Marines to the Los Angeles area. Protesters clashed with police on Monday night in front of the federal building in Los Angeles. Several protesters set off fireworks and water at the officers while the police attempted to disperse the rioters with rubber bullets and stun grenades, as the Washington Post reports. Trump wrote about his decision that if he didn't send the troops to LA the last 3 nights, it would be 25,000 houses will be burned to the ground in LA due to the incompetent governor and mayor, according to him in Truth Social. California Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass have been critical of Trump mobilizing the National Guard, with the former saying on Monday that his office plans to sue the presidential administration over the deployment of the troops. Following the protests over the weekend, the city of Glendale announced Sunday night that it had ended an agreement with the federal government to house detainees arrested by the ICE. The city jail no longer holds ICE detainees as of Monday, according to the report. In an next post, the Department of Homeland Security stated that it deeply disturbing the sanctuary politicians in Glendale, California, would terminate an agreement to hold an immigration and customs detainees and violent criminals at a time when violent rioters are looting and defacing Los Angeles and assaulting federal law enforcement. DHS said that they had an agreement with the city for more than 15 years. Regarding the protests in San Francisco, the city's police department released a statement confirming that it had worked with several agencies to detain multiple protesters around midnight. According to the San Francisco Police Department, 2 small groups broke away from the overwhelmingly peaceful demonstration, committing the vandalism and other criminal acts. It arrested over 150 people on Sunday night, according to KRON. Hundreds of protesters had taken to the streets, with many carrying signs and chanting anti-ICE slogans. Demonstrators who made their way toward the market and Kearny streets shattered large glass windows outside a Chase Bank and damaged a police vehicle. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie said the rioters vandalized a municipal railway, with the Embarcadero BART station being shut down due to a civil disturbance. For the entertainment news, Michael Tate, the former lead singer of Christian rock bands U-Boys and member of the Grammy-winning group DC Talk, publicly confessed Tuesday to a history of reckless and destructive behavior, including drug and alcohol abuse and unwanted sexual conduct involving men. In a written statement on Instagram, the 59-year-old singer acknowledged that the recent reports of his reckless and destructive behavior are sadly largely true. Tate's confession follows in an in-depth investigative report published by the Royce Report last week, in which 3 men accused him of sexual assault during separate incidents dating back to 2004. The investigation also documented long-term allegations of drug and alcohol abuse during his time as a Christian artist. While disputing some unspecified details, Tate says he does not challenge the substance of them. He also revealed that he entered treatment shortly after abruptly stepping down from Newsboys, spending 6 weeks in recovery in Utah for addiction and emotional healing. Tate's statement is his first public acknowledgement since the Voice report published its initial expose on June 3. The story included testimony from three men who said they were 22 years old at the time of their respective encounters with Tate. Each described a similar pattern of grooming, excessive alcohol use, and non-consensual physical contact. The fallout has been swift. K-Love, the country's largest Christian radio network, confirmed it has pulled music by Newsboys and DC Talk from the rotation. Several local stations across the North America and Australia have followed suit. And for K-pop superstars Jimin and Jungkook, they are the latest members of BTS to be discharged from South Korea's mandatory military service. The pair wore their military uniforms Wednesday, June 11, saluted and addressed fans who had assembled to see the pair after their discharge. They were enlisted last December 2023, one day after RM and V did the same. The latter were discharged on Tuesday. They saluted upon the release Tuesday in Chuncheon City. About 200 fans, some of whom traveled from Mexico, Turkey, Brazil, cheered. V thanked the fans on Tuesday for their patience in waiting for him and RM's return and teased the band's reunion. The seven singers of the popular K-pop band plan to reunite as a group sometime in 2025 after they finish their service. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 12:30 in the clock Philippine Standard Time, and that is all for Cool News today. For more news and headlines, keep it up here on Cool FM, the station that cares for you and to every Filipino. You can also send us your comments, suggestions, and feedback at tvh.philippines@news@gmail.com. This is your station. This is home. I'm Stephen Nirwanig del Sol. Good night. And good afternoon, rather, and God bless the Republic of the Philippines.